Yes, my new M2 MacBook Air arrives tomorrow, and yes, I'm so glad I did not go for the base model. Because yes, it seems that the new M2 MacBook Air in its base model might not be a product we'd necessarily recommend. New leaks give us the color variants and some specifications for the next Galaxy Fold, and Jony Ive has fully parted ways with Apple on a very interesting twist to the relationship. I'm Jaime Rivera, and as much as I thank Jony for everything he did, I wonder if this is actually a good thing. This is Pocketnow Daily. The official news today begin with Netflix and their new partnership with Microsoft. That's the weirdest ever. I mean, remember those statements Netflix made a few years ago about how they would never include ads? Well, things are about to change. Earlier today, the streaming company announced that this partnership will focus on a new ad-supported tier that will be a cheaper plan that is intended to draw in users who are not willing to pay $10 for the current entry-level plan. They also mentioned that Microsoft's role will be to handle all ad sales and support all advertisement needs for them. And yes, why Microsoft is behaving like an ad agency is just as much of a surprise for you as it is for me. It's important to also mention that the company's change of heart comes after a very disappointing first quarter where Netflix lost subscribers for the first time in 10 years. And I guess that's what happens when you get Prime, HBO Max, Disney Plus putting out better content for less money, and you keep charging $10 for a standard plan with trashy streaming quality. Just to wrap it up, Netflix didn't share any information about the pricing, but we can expect the new service to arrive before the end of 2022. And just for a preamble, my family plan, which is the 4K package, it's over $20. Moving on, let's talk about Samsung and the new information about their next foldables that kind of contradict some previous leaks. A few weeks ago, we got a ton of rumors stating that the Fold 4 and the Flip 4 would arrive with up to 1TB and 512 gigs of storage respectively, which naturally got everyone excited. Now we got to see some images from Evan Blass showing the color options for the Fold 4. On this image, we can see that it will come in Phantom Black, Gray Green, which is weird, Burgundy Red, and a new beige color. But what's important here is that the image also contains storage capacities for the Fold, and we can see that it'll start at 128 gigs, 256 then, and after that 512, which is kind of odd that they're sticking to 128 gigs for this year, considering just how premium a phone this is. Also, both the Flip 4 and the Fold got FCC certifications, so yeah, we're about a month away from your typical launch timeframe, which means Samsung is about to leak them in some website in Europe. Stay tuned for that. Now let's talk about Apple for the next couple of segments. Remember when Jony Ive left the company back in 2019? Well, his goal was to create his own design firm, but he confirmed that he would still be working with Apple as a consultant as they offered him $100 million in a contract. Sense. However, earlier this week, Cupertino and Ive agreed to stop working together, ending a more than 30-year-old partnership. And if you've been living under a rock, Jony Ive is Jony Ive. I mean, sure, Ive has been working on the 24-inch iMac and the Apple Car as of late, but this man is responsible for designing all of the products that got Apple out of the gutter, like the iMac, the iPod, the iPhone, the Apple Watch, iOS 7, and even Apple retail stores and their spaceship campus. Apparently, the company executives were questioning how much Ive was getting paid, and were also getting frustrated that designers were leaving Cupertino to work for Loveform, which is Jony's firm. There are other reports claiming that he decided to leave the company after the launch of the Apple Watch Series 7 because he felt that the company was becoming less design-focused. It is also said that I've felt that Tim Cook had little interest in product development, and he was allegedly frustrated that Apple's board was formed of mainly directors with backgrounds in finance rather than technology. Obviously, I don't know any of those internal things, but what I do know is that even if Ive was complaining that Apple was not design focused, lately the designs were starting to actually make sense from a functional perspective. And might I not remember the butterfly keyboards of the MacBook Pro, but anyways. And finally, for the hottest news today, let's talk about the M2 MacBook Air, which should be arriving at your doorstep tomorrow, mine included. Yes, some people are already getting it early, and of course certain publications have had it for some time to prepare the reviews. You knew benchmarks were going to be a part of that, and it seems those didn't necessarily go too well. See, ever since the M2 13-inch MacBook Pro was announced, it was reported that those base 256 gig models offered an SSD that was almost 50% slower in read speeds and 30% slower in write speeds than the higher tier counterparts. We didn't make a big deal about it because, I mean, that's the Pro, which is a 6-year-old design. I was not going to recommend that. But this new M2 MacBook Air is supposed to be a major revamp in the lineup and has been Apple's most beloved Mac for the past 15 years. And heck, it would be our top recommendation as probably one of the best laptops of the year, period. Sadly, with this situation, it gets complicated, but then Apple obviously responded to this, telling The Verge that even with those benchmarks, the M2 chip allows it to be faster for everyday use than before. But then everyone is getting mixed results in those situations in the reviews. So for today's question, let us know. I mean, what do you think? Would you be willing to buy a Mace MacBook Air with those conditions? Because listen, in my case, I already feel 256 gigs is too little storage for a laptop. This is not a cheap machine. I mean, we shouldn't be dealing with these problems, particularly because people like to hold on to them for years. You kind of want a future-proof design, but that's just me. Leave us a comment down below. We'd love to know your opinion. Friends, again, if you want to get the news earlier, follow us on Pocketnow.com and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. You can also follow us on social medias. Our extended coverage happens on Instagram, and follow me on my personal handles to see me debate changes. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.